Hey, what up, decisive marketers? So today we're going to be talking about WebWave. Is a website builder, and it also has e-commerce and blogging features. But before I dive into WebWave, be sure to hit that subscribe button if you like to see more digital marketing and e-commerce content. So here we go. So here we are in WebWave. Okay, so with WebWave, right? So I'm just going to jump into my website right here. Right, so just give it a second to load. Okay, so while we are waiting for WebWave to load, right, let me just kind of explain how WebWave is like. It's very different from a lot of website builders that you have used before, or maybe page builders that you've used before, because WebWave is somewhat like Convertry. So some of you may have used Convertry before. It's a funnel builder, but it's also similar in the way that you design the web pages itself. Okay, so with most page builders, it works like a block or element style where you build top down. You place elements or blocks, and then you build below them, right? So you can add like columns, and then you start adding text, you start adding images, you start adding videos, you add another column, and you continue from there, right? So with WebWave is very different because it works kind of like Photoshop, I would say, where you can move elements anywhere that you want. You can place it anywhere that you want. You can move these text element anywhere you want. Okay, and let me see. Okay, so you can move these images anywhere you want as well. Okay, and then when you publish the page, okay, and then you will be able to see how the page looks like. It is exactly like how you have designed it. So you can see that the element appears, this one first, and then this, and then the background images. So that's how WebWave works. So it's very different if, for example, if you're working WordPress, Gutenberg, Elementor, Visual Composer, DV. These page builders are very different from how WebWave works. Okay, and if you're using Wix or Weebly, they work very differently as well, because it's I would say that WebWave is very much for a web designer. So for example, you have a web designer who designs a page for you already, and then you can just place all the elements as how you want it. There's no, you don't have to worry about columns, or how what kind of blocks you've got to use. So this takes care of everything, right? Okay, so you can see all the elements in there. So for example, you can add a rectangle, you can place it here, and then if you want, you can add a text element over the rectangle, right? You can place a website menu. Okay, and then you can place the menu anywhere you want. So that's really how WebWave works, right? And they can place icons, you can place images. Okay, and for images, they do have an integration uh with Unsplash, right? So you can instantly upload images into WebWave from Unsplash itself. They have galleries, so you can add multiple items into the gallery. Okay, right, and then you can add the photos in there. Then you have a gallery running. You have slider. You have grids, right? And you can add buttons. You can add shopping cart buttons as well. Counters, Google Maps, custom HTML, CSS, and JS, block feed, a language menu, login menu, audio or video player, a form. Let's see. So okay, and then you can add pre-made sections as well. You just kind of click in to them, and you can add as it is, right? So you can build your pages a lot faster with these. Okay, so these are like templates that you can pull in very quickly, and of course every single element will have, you know, its own styling right here, right? So you can set the element, you know, for every single item right here. And then for individual pages, you can also set its settings right here. You can set a background, you can you know, show the settings, whether you want it to be available for everyone or just for login users, or you gotta enter a password to access it. Okay, and then you can set the meta title and meta description as well. And you can I believe this would be the open graph image right here. Okay, right, and you can see all the layers in here, right? So you can see when it says layers, it's very much like Photoshop, right? So it's kind of like using Photoshop. And then you can go, they also have a block feature which is already built in, and then you can just add a new block from here. So for the blocks, it's very different, right? So unlike how you design pages, with blocks it's fixed. Okay, so you can see that everything is grayed out right here because there's no other settings. All your, you know, articles has to be of a certain format or layout, right? So you can just start writing your content in here, right? So you know, you can just start writing your content in here. Okay, and then you can put a featured image in there. Okay, and then you can set up your categories for your articles. There's also a article manager or management right here. You can see all the published articles that we added in here. Okay, and then you have store settings. So store settings would be, you know, for you to set up your e-commerce features. Okay, so you can set up the pricing and everything in here, right? So it's a cart, so you may want to set up like a product page from here, and then you can put a button for the pricing, and then let me just kind of jump back in to web pages. Okay, right, so you can jump back in to you know, put in, you know, have a shopping cart button. You can put in the product in here, right? Okay, and that's where you get the store. And then your general settings, so you can set up your website name and whether it's available, right? Whether it's public or not. And then you can delete the website if you don't want it anymore. You can set the web address. Okay, you and then you can register a domain from them, or you can connect a domain name. Okay, and you can set up your emails in here. So once you connected your domain, you can then set up email inboxes. And then webmaster, so these will be like your team members, so not just you can manage the website, but anyone else can, I mean your team members can help you as well. Then for CMS would be, you know, your articles, people who, you know, people who are writing content on your site, they will be the CMS users, right? And then you know, this is for you to set up your premium plan where you get additional access like the e-commerce features and all that. And then you have Google Analytics, right? You can set it up right here. You can also upload your own you know, ads ads.txt file. I'm not really sure what this is, but I think this allows you to set up some sort of ad space where you can sell the ad space, and then you can set up your entire website. You can connect with Google Search Console, Bing. You can put in meta text for uh, confirmation that you're the site owner, and then your robots.txt file in here as well. And you can look at all the statistics. You can set a error 404 error page, and then you can look at all your media files, fonts, and if you want to take a backup as well, so you can create a backup. Okay, and pretty much that's all, right? So you can also design it for the tablet right here. Okay, so you can do some manual adjustments for your tablet version, your landscape mobile version, your mobile portrait version, and then you can put in comments for collaboration, as or you know, you know, sending it to your designer for improvements, right? So you can set that all up. So one thing about personally, I would say that I do not like this style of web design because I find that it's very complex. It's really, I find that it's more meant for a web designer, more like a graphic designer who can design websites, and then they can just sort of uh, have their own way to design the web page as they want. So, but for someone who works from a like building blocks style of building websites, I think that WebWave is very complex for me because I'm not really a designer, and just having so much freedom in the design aspects makes it too complex for me. Okay, so ultimately it depends on what kind of how what kind of how do you design a website basically, right? So I know some people who love Convertry, but I just can't grow into it at all because it's it's just very similar to WebWave, right? Um, okay, but luckily they do have some website templates that you can already use. Okay, so you can just kind of click on any one of them and start using them. Right, so quite a lot of templates in here. So I think that's where it's good because you can just click on one of these and start working on your have a website that's sort of ready to go, right? So for example, a beauty studio, you just kind of click on this one, change the color scheme, change the images, change the content. The layout is already there, so you save a lot of time with your web design. Okay, so I'm just going to jump in. For example, this is the this one right here, the watch page, watch website right here. Okay, so I just click on one of these and start working from this template right here. Okay, so this is the one right here. So you can see it. This is great because it saves me a lot of time. Everything, it's all mapped out very nicely. Okay, right? So I guess that's all I have to share about WebWave. In my opinion, I think that it's not for me because I don't like the style of web design. So it just kind of makes it more complex for me because I can move elements everywhere. So I hate that, right? just looking at this and then being able to move it around, and then I realized that I got to align it back. You know, uh, it it is just too complex for me. Okay, so but otherwise, I think that if you're a web designer, this would be great for you. I think they give unlimited traffic, unlimited bandwidth, if I'm not wrong. And one thing good is that if you are really a web designer, and you can really benefit from WebWave, because you can export it into you can export the site as a and then you can have it uploaded somewhere to host it on your own as well. So I think that's one of the benefits of WebWave, so that you don't have to be fully dependent on WebWave. Right, so I guess that's all I have to share about WebWave. If you enjoyed this video, do give me a thumbs up. Let me know what you think about WebWave in the comments below. And lastly, if you know anyone who could benefit from a free-form website builder, be sure to share this video with them. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.